Today I'll be reviewing Boruto Chapter 45, Defection. So this was a great chapter with lots of intense moments, like when Shikamaru slams Amato to the wall, Naruto making threats, and then Jigen questioning Kashin Koji. We also got information from Amato about the Ten Tails and the Divine Tree, which I thought was cool that they added to the lore that we already knew, but I do think they spent too much time talking about things we already knew, but Amato in the chapter did say that this was all a step-by-step process. So I think in this chapter we got the beginning of that process, and in the next chapter we'll probably get some more based on where Amato, Naruto, and Shikamaru ended their conversation. But to start from the beginning, the chapter starts with Amato offering intel and tells them not to take long to decide because he can just blow up Shikadai's head at any moment in time. And Shikamaru, who was already angry, basically loses it because of what's going on with Shikadai. And we also get Sumire explaining what it means to defect, and Naruto decides to take him to be interrogated. I like how Naruto gives him a warning beforehand and says, "You should know this, but just in case, I wouldn't try anything funny if I were you, because it won't end well for either of us." And Amato just like, okay, no problem. Naruto basically let him know if he tries some ish, it's not going well for either of us. So I don't know if that actually means Naruto is willing to die if Shikadai dies, or if that just means he's willing to take out Amato with him if he has to go. So after that, we see Code watching the Ten Tails, and Jigen lets him know that Konoha, aka Sasuke, knows their location, which could be foreshadowing that we may get Sasuke versus Code in the future. But it's kind of hard to tell right now because of what's going on with Amato, Kashin Koji, and Jigen. We also find out that they don't know that Boro's been defeated. They just think he's running late or something. They literally have no idea that Boroshiki destroyed them. And so after his conversation with Code ends, Kashin Koji walks in and Jigen asks for his report. But then we switch back over to Shikamaru and Naruto in the investigation. And while they're interrogating him, Mato's just chilling there asking if he can smoke. And that pisses Shikamaru off to no extent, so he slams him to the wall and tells Amato that he'll rip him in half. And Naruto's actually the first one to tell Shikamaru to calm down and that this isn't like you. And the reason Shikamaru is like this is because his son is literally in danger, and the guy who has control over his son literally doesn't care. Even Amato points out that he's just a father when it comes to his son, and that the ex general in him would be disappointed. And while that's going on, Boruto, Kawaki, and Sumire are just outside watching. And Kawaki just casually says, "I bet this is a trap," which is, I'm pretty sure that's going to be important later on, and points out that Amato is the head of the research and development team, and says that it wouldn't be exaggerating to say that he knows everything about Kara. He also points out that Jigen never lets him leave, so just being here puts him in danger, and that he's probably prepared to die. So Kawaki was basically letting us know that Amato is on a do or die mission, which kind of contradicts what we see later in the chapter. I don't know, because throughout the chapter up till this point, he seemingly doesn't care what happens to himself, but at the same time he wants Jigen defeated, or else why else would he be providing information? Kawaki also tells us that he made all the cyborgs in Kara, so they're not androids. And Katate is just like, oh, I'd like to work with him if his defection gets approved. And Tamiri just says that would be beneficial to Kawaki too. And while this is all going on, I think it's interesting how Kawaki is the one who's suspicious of what he's plotting, and he just stares down Amato. And so Naruto's just like, alright, start sharing that intel of yours, even if it's just one part at a time. And so basically, and Amato's like, well, you're coming on strong, Lord Hokage. Do you want Shikadai to die? And I thought that was interesting because Naruto literally he's playing coy because we know he cares about Shikadai, but he's just not willing to back down and give in to Amato's demands easily. That's why he's not talking as if he's super concerned. Naruto is just like, after you give us that intel, I'll decide if you can join us or not. My favorite part of that moment is when he says, if you did break off our negotiations, you'd die. So I don't think I'd risk that. I don't think you'd risk that, is what he tells Amato. But Amato's response was interesting because he said, I have nowhere to go if Konoha rejects me. Even if I manage to get out of here, I won't be able to escape Jigen. So I'm dead either way. So like I was saying earlier, he's literally on a do or die mission, which is what Kawaki was saying in the previous page. So I'm not fully sure if I believe him because I don't know. I feel like there's something we're missing here, a critical piece that we're missing here, a key piece. And one thing that comes to mind is if he created all the cyborgs or enhanced all the cyborgs in Kara, why didn't he just use them to defeat Jigen unless Jigen oversaw it and made sure that wasn't possible? But he was able to shut down Delta when he felt like it. And if he's programmed, and Kashin Koji speculated that he was programmed similarly in the last chapter or the chapter before that. So why isn't he using that to his advantage? Unless this is all part of Jigen's scheme or something. But the end of the chapter kind of deconfirmed that because Kashin Koji said he was created, and that could only be by Amato unless it wasn't. So Naruto gives him his word as Hokage that he won't betray him, and Amato has an interesting reaction to hearing the word Hokage. He's just like, Hokage, huh? Fine. So I'm wondering if he had a connection to a previous Kage, or maybe he just doesn't hold the title of a Kage or Hokage in a high light. It'd be interesting if he did have a connection with the previous Hokage, like the third Hokage. I'm pretty sure there's a theory out there where people speculate that he's a Sarutobi for some reason, but I'm not sure about the basis of that theory, so I don't really want to talk about that. So from this point on in the chapter, we get a mix of Kashin, Koji, and Jigen talking while Amato's breaking down what's actually going on. So Jigen asks Kashin Koji about his mission to retrieve the vessel, and he's just like, I failed. And Jigen clearly isn't happy about it, and Amato just goes straight into questioning and says he couldn't believe it when he appeared in front of Kawaki in Naruto's house. And Kashin Koji basically wanted to know why he sent him to get it when he could just do it himself. And Jigen's response to that is it odd to have you fetch a parcel for me when I could reclaim it myself? And we see Amato with that panel where he's just completely silent. And it's crazy because if you read between the lines, Jigen is extremely. He's disrespecting Kashin Koji to an extreme degree. Because if you read in between the lines, there are two things to be taken from that. One is that he's telling Jigen he can do whatever he wants, whether you want him to or not. And the second is him degrading him to an extreme degree. Because if you look at the language used, he literally says to have you fetch as if he's a dog, as if he's telling a dog to do something for its own entertainment or a game. It's like Jigen threw a stick for Kashin Koji to get, even though he could probably get it himself. And to top it all off, Jigen throws the problem right back in Kashin Koji's face by saying it all stems from the problem of the airship crash that wasn't an accident, which we didn't know before. And he says that someone attacked the airship. And while reading that was actually a major surprise slash reveal to me because I never considered the fact that the airship was attacked. I just thought it fell out of the sky and Kawaki just happened to be in there. And Kashin Koji's like, oh, that's news to me. Where did you hear such a thing? And this is when Jigen gets serious and tells him to stop playing dumb. And this is a prime opportunity to drop all pretenses and talk. And then on the next page, Amato gives us that confirmation slash reveal that Jigen isn't Otsutsuki, which has been implied in previous chapters. We've talked about this before, but he says that he was once a human, but now he's an Otsutsuki. And then he gives Naruto and the others an explanation on what the Otsutsuki are. He says they're invaders from another planet. To put it simply, they're alien parasites. And that's just to put it simply. Then he gives us more information that we already knew, like they come to devour a planet, that's their only goal, and then they just pack up and do it to another planet. And then Naruto asks him to expand on what he means by devour a planet, as in how do they do it, which I'm pretty sure Naruto already knew from the 4th grade Ninja War. Unless he missed it, I just don't remember. I'll probably have to rewatch that whole section of the war again later. But afterwards, I guess Sasuke is the only one who remembers, so I guess Naruto's just having an idiot moment right now. So Sasuke knew all about that and the Divine Tree and the Chakra Fruit. But we did get some new information regarding the Divine Tree, and that's that the Otsutsuki use it to continuously update themselves. I guess that's been implied because we saw Kaguya first come down for the Chakra Fruit, or I guess to absorb all the chakra in this planet to create the Chakra Fruit. And then she failed in that, so Momoshiki came and he attempted the same thing. We also saw that Momoshiki tried to absorb the chakra of the tailed beast, or not the tailed beast, of the 8 tails to get some of its chakra fruit. We also saw him turn Kinshiki into some chakra fruit and eat him. That's when he gained his final transformation in the movie. But a question I have is why they're doing it, because it can't be for themselves, or otherwise, why would they be sent to go get fruit for themselves? If I had to take a guess, I would say they're probably taking the fruit, updating themselves so that they can return to their leader and so that he can update himself. Similar to what Kinshiki did to Momoshiki, Momoshiki was probably planning on doing that to his king, or I guess his king would do that to him. One other thing I want to talk about is them being called parasites. We knew they were aliens because of the Fourth Great Ninja War. Kaguya fell from a meteor, and then the movie arc, in the anime, we literally saw Momoshiki traveling through space. But what interests me is that they were called parasites. We've never heard them called that because, from our perspective in the series so far, the Otsutsuki clan have been like godlike figures, I want to say, to the Naruto verse, because Hagoromo is the father of all shinobi and his mom was essentially the god of all shinobi since she brought chakra to the planet. But back to my main point, we've never heard them go by the term parasite before. And when you think about it, that's what they've been the whole time. Because if you look back as far as Madara, he was essentially the host for Kaguya, who was a parasite. Once the conditions were set, she was able to come back through Madara's body and create the infinite Tsukiyomi. And I believe Jigen and Ishiki are in a similar situation, but Jigen is seemingly willingly going along with it. And I think Momoshiki is prepping Boruto for the same thing. But what I want to know is how Kaoki fits into all of this. Because Jigen wants his body too for the Ten Tails. He wants his and Boruto's. I don't know if he needs both or he just wants one of them. But a few chapters ago we found out that the Ten Tails can't eat either of them right now. So after that, Amato reveals that he was the one who left the coordinates to the Ten Tails so that Sasuke could get it. We also learned that it's a different Ten Tails than the one that they battled, which was obvious to me, but I guess because they sealed the other Ten Tails, so I don't know why people thought this would be the same one. But that aside, we also found out the Otsutsuki always use the Ten Tails when they assault a planet. This also confirms that there are multiple Ten Tails out there. And that alone is extremely deadly. Because when you think about it, the nine-tailed beasts put together create the Ten Tails. That was the entire point of them gathering the tailed beasts and for them to summon the Geto Mazu was to create the Ten Tails. So one Ten Tail is essentially equal to 9 tailed beasts. Naruto literally only has one with the powers of some others. So if we're under the assumption that one Otsutsuki clan member has at least one full Ten Tails within him, that's a major problem. That's essentially a Ten Tails Jinchuriki out there just waiting and chilling, and possibly even more than one. And since they have a whole process in place for acquiring the Ten Tails and sending it to planets and absorbing it and then moving on, it means that they've done this before. So I guess that means there's at least one other Ten Tails Jinchuriki out there, which is crazy to think about. And if that is true, then the power scales in Boruto are going to catch up to what they were in the Fourth Great Ninja War, and maybe even surpass that. So, after that, Naruto assumes that Jigen wants to take over the planet, but Sasuke corrects him by saying whoever put the karma on him, aka Ishiki, is actually the one who wants to take it over. We also get that confirmation that karma turns you into an Otsutsuki, and for some reason Jigen wants Boruto and Kaoki defeated to the Ten Tails, which I just talked about, but I don't get why he would want them if he can just do it himself, unless he has some sort of time limit on his body. And this is crazy because it just means, as we saw previously, Momoshiki could just take over whenever Boruto's just prime and ready to be taken over. And right as Sasuke is asking him to explain the karma, which would have actually been new information for this chapter, Amato gets that live projection from Kashin Koji and Jigen. And I like how we get that bit of confirmation where Amato says that Kashin Koji is my one and only collaborator within Kara. So if we ever see somebody else trying to say they were partnered up with them, like Code or whatnot, we know they're lying. And so we switch over to Kashin Koji and Jigen having their conversation. Boruto also gets to see Jigen for the first time. And then Jigen acts what Amato and his motives are. Because he thought they were all down to get the chakra fruit. I don't know what they were all going to do sharing a chakra fruit, even though I'm pretty sure it would have all just ended up with Ishiki. So Kashin Koji tells Jigen that to stop. Basically, he knows that he's mad, and so that leads to Shuriken being thrown, and then Jigen just shrinks himself to dodge it, and then comes from behind and stabs Kashin Koji with chakra rods. But it turns out that it was just a shadow clone. Surprisingly, Naruto couldn't do that at all in his fight with Jigen, even though he had Sasuke backing him up. But that's a different conversation. So that happens. It turns out to be a shadow clone. And then we get that one line at the end of the chapter where Kashin Koji says, "My motive is simple. I have no interest in the chakra fruit from the very beginning. I was created to kill you." And that was easily the line of the chapter. But since he says that, I'm wondering if Amato is actually the mastermind, because early in the chapter he seemed like he didn't care whether he lives or dies, since he can't escape either way. But we also know that he created the cyborgs of Kara, Kashin Koji included, meaning he made Kashin Koji to kill Jigen. But since I'm guessing he sent Kashin Koji out to complete his plan and join the Leaf, I guess that means he's assuming Kashin Koji is gonna die, so he sent them out as bait and a distraction so he could get away. Because if he knows he's gonna fail, that means this is all part of their plan. Or I guess just Amato's plan. I guess he programmed Kashin Koji to just obey. That, or he has some sort of backup plan, maybe an extra Kashin Koji, like there's an extra Delta somewhere. One thing is for sure though, I don't want to see Kashin Koji become a jobber, especially since we already know how strong Jigen is, so there's really no need for that. And there was so much built up around Kashin Koji and who he might be, and that he has a connection to Konoha in some way. And I think it would be great for him, for them to reveal his connection within the next chapter or so, if they're gonna end up killing him off. So overall, that was a great chapter. A lot to think about and speculate on. Hopefully we get more on what the Kara actually is next time, because in this chapter a lot got confirmed for us. We found out more about basically all the theories, the small theories that we've put together based on, I guess, things we've seen in the latest chapters were proven correct or incorrect. Mostly correct though, because we already knew about the Divine Tree and the Chakra Fruit, but they did add more to that. We also got that confirmation that the Kara, or not the Kara, the Otsutsuki use karma to take over people's bodies like parasites. And if you look back as far as the 4th Great Ninja War, Kaguya did something similar to Madara. It just took way more time since she couldn't probably directly place a karma onto Madara. One question I do have regarding Kashin Koji, is he 100% artificially created? Since he says he uses the word created, not modified. And if they're cyborgs, cyborgs are modified humans, not just like scratch creations. Unless he just used some random body and then just updated it till it became a cyborg. But if that is the case, two things are clear. One, whoever it was that he updated and took over had a connection to the Leaf in some sort of way. And if that's true, does that mean Amato already had a connection to the Leaf in some way previously? I'm starting to think this might all trace back to Orochimaru. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. But similar things are going on with the bodies taking over, the cursed seals. I think if Orochimaru ends up like a villain again in Boruto, I think that would be the ultimate twist. It's all kind of there too with the body takeovers, the curse marks, the artificially enhanced humans. I think that would be pretty cool, but let me know what you thought of this chapter in the comment section below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and bye.